This is Techzine Talks on Tour, the podcast about enterprise technology that brings you IT insights and analyses from events all around the globe. We cover everything, everywhere. Visit techzine.eu for more information, and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast.
Joining us is Nicky Tozer. She's Vice President at Oracle NetSuite, and we are discussing what Gen AI can bring to ERP. Welcome, Nicky. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome.
We know what Gen AI is for about 18 months now, I guess. What do you think of Gen AI in general?
Well, obviously it's another new phenomenon that's going to possibly be as big as the internet or the cloud in their own right, and it's still early relatively in its evolution, and I think it's got massive potential for everybody, and I also think at the moment people are still kind of working out what it's going to mean for them both now and in the future, but I think it's very exciting.
Yeah. Some people call Gen AI an iPhone moment, where the world was before the iPhone and after the iPhone.
Yeah.
Do you think the same of Gen AI?
Quite possibly, yes. I mean, if you think about, the explosion of ChatGPT and all of the conversations that created and everybody trying it out and realizing the power of it, now we need to harness that power and work out how we can actually use it meaningfully. But yes, I think it's a great moment in technology.
Yeah, and you are here for NetSuite. You've just introduced, I think, your first Gen AI features with Techzine, right?
Yep, that's right. Yes, we launched that in North America, and we'll be bringing it to the UK very shortly.
And Ireland, right?
At the moment, it's UK.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the Irish bit, actually. We'd need to check on that. But definitely the UK, because of the data sovereignty for the UK location.
Okay.
That's why it's UK only now and not in some of the other countries in Europe.
Mix it up with some other announcement, no problem.
Okay.
What does Techzine bring to your platform?
Well, I mean, Techzine is kind of, I suppose, what you might imagine. So, for example, if you're writing some sales orders, for example, or you want to create some campaigns for customers, Techzine will allow that to create the body of that text for you, and then you can edit it to be something that's meaningful. We had a great example earlier as well, that if you're in a support organisation, for example, and you've talked to a customer about whatever challenges they have, then Techzine can produce the report for you that you can then edit. And what that means for an end user is it takes hours potentially out of the day, or even minutes, but they don't have to sit there and generate that entire report themselves. The system will create that text for you based on the context of what's in the system already. So it's time saving for the end users, which means they can either, if they were a support consultant, for example, they could do more of those support cases, or if it was a finance user, for example, they would then be able to use that time that they're not spending generating that report to do some more value-add activities.
Okay, so Techzine is really connected to the customer data, so it can get the context of where the conversation needs to be about and what the last conversations with a customer were, for example.
Yes, correct. And I appreciate the listeners may not have seen the examples that we sent earlier on, but what we showed was a reflection of a summary of a discussion that someone had with the customer, and producing a written reply to that via email or whatever, and that incorporated all of the data that we had about that particular customer or whatever in the system, so that email got generated for them, and then they could just edit it before they send it out to make it more relevant.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning of AI and Gen AI in general.
Yeah.
Even your colleague, Brian Chess,
yes.
I think he is responsible for all the AI that is created within NetSuite stated this. I don't want to go down the roadmap of NetSuite, just for the listeners to know. But I am wondering, because you talk to a lot of customers and you talk about what might be possible in upcoming years, because they have challenges and they may be looking for AI. Like, is that a solution for us or not?
Yes.
What do you envision?
Well, I think we have to listen to the customers to find those use cases that solve problems that genuinely save time. It's in an ERP system, so it's running a business, and customers are genuinely finding use cases that mean something to them. So if you listen to our customer Bloom and Wild earlier today, they are using AI to help to increase their sustainability. So wastage, I think the industry standard is about 40%. They're using AI to help them bring that wastage number down to 10%, which is meaningful to their business, both in terms financially, because they're not wasting so many of their flowers and stems, but also is good for sustainability and the universe. So, I think there's real world examples like that customers will bring to us. Maybe some of them will be specific to a customer that isn't relevant to our entire customer base, so we may not introduce them. But that's really going to help from that input from our customer base as to how we go, which direction we go in with this AI technology. I think we will identify some of those use cases as we go forward, but I think it's going to be really important to get that input for those visionary customers and people who are experiencing those challenges on a day-to-day basis as to how we actually use it within the ERP system.
Yeah, so sustainability, waste, are there any other topics you think AI might help?
Well, we have, I talked about the support case earlier on. I think we're actually doing that in our own organisation, is to look at, Evan was talking earlier on with the customer roundtable, in how you can actually use AI to generate that report data for you, enrich it so that those support consultants aren't having to generate that themselves, genuinely saving them time in how many customers they can respond to. So that's another use case we're aware of. But I think we also see that in financial reporting, for example, our expectation is that we will see the completion of those kind of reports reduce the time to create those kind of things as well. So, we had previously spreadsheets that made reporting faster and made financial, accounting faster. Then the introduction of a cloud-based, centralized, single unified application to run your business like NetSuite made things faster. And I think this kind of AI could also bring that reporting process faster, so that those financial people can be providing the value-add analysis. So, we're talking about generative AI today, but, there's the analytic AI side of it. If you look at the enterprise performance management tools that we were announced today also, those finance users then have that time to look at that kind of advisory piece of AI that says, okay, now I'm looking to predict what else I can do with my business by providing scenario analysis, building faster, more accurate forward-looking plans so that I can extend what my business is doing and accelerate that in the future. So I think it's end-to-end, it's not just this, what is generative AI going to produce, but also then how can we improve the business with that analytic AI after that.
Yeah, that's very interesting what you're saying, because I do wonder now, Gen AI is kind of making AI normal for the general public and more acceptable. Does that also mean that an organization like yourselves will invest more in, let's say, traditional AI? Because, there's more awareness for it, more organizations are more open and acceptable to AI.
Yeah, and more, and we'll have more time for the more traditional AI, I think. So, we made planning and budgeting available to our NetSuite customers quite a while ago, and it's been accelerated across the region. And now we're bringing more of that EPM capability to our customers, and the more time, the shorter they get the detail bit done, of the reporting bit done, the more time they have to use that kind of traditional AI as well. So I think it's very positive for all of our customers. It's about harnessing how do we then make it as useful as we can for the sorts of things that our NetSuite customers are doing.
What benefits do you see for organizations with AI? Is it purely being more productive or more efficient, or do you think there are more benefits that you
Well,
could
I think Brian Chess earlier on in our keynote was talking about, assisting with AI and then advising with AI. And the assisting bit really is about productivity and efficiency and speed of that kind of thing. And the advisory piece then is about, what can I tell you about your business that you might be missing if you're just looking at data. So rather than just looking at data, AI, either from the generative and from the analytic AI, can help to surface things that look wrong, for example, or anomalies that you might see in the data that might encourage you to go, actually, that number seems out, let's go and have a look at it and drill into it in more detail. And that's, nicely leads us to the analytics warehouse piece that we talked about today as well, which allows you not only to look at your NetSuite data, but data that you might have stored in other applications or data warehouses that you have, or indeed more than one NetSuite instance, that allows you then to bring all that data together so that you can start to surface more of that analytic piece. And again, more time and energy to do that if the generative piece is doing that. So the assist piece and the advise piece, productivity, and then giving you that vision as to what can you look for.
It's a vision on
business.
Details and knowledge to help you make better decisions.
Yeah, exactly that.
What do you think that organizations should invest in if they want to get on this Gen AI trend or train, or however we want to call it?
Yeah, well, we're all learning about it, but I think what's clear now is that, the better your data is and the easier it is to access your data, and the more linked together it is, the easier it is for generative AI to work on that data. So, for us, our customers are looking at a single integrated platform with NetSuite to run their business. That makes it much easier for the generative AI piece to be useful to them, because it's, all the financial customer data, etc., supply chain, inventory, in that one platform. The more of a consistency you have in that respect makes it easier. So that's, if you're a very small customer to a very large customer, you're going to be on some kind of evolution for that data, and it might not be relevant for everybody. But if you're thinking long-term and visionary for your business, that's a great place to start, I think, to be in a better position to take advantage of that AI capability.
And what would you say to organizations who are a bit afraid of AI? Because that's also something that keeps coming back.
Yeah, well, I think it's really natural, first of all, to have a bit of, fear or uncertainty or doubt, at least, about it. And one of the things we were talking about in one of the sessions earlier on is that, if you look at the internet, you look at cloud technology, we all had some fear about that. I remember I joined NetSuite in 2012, and we were the first application in the cloud, and people are going, well, you want me to put my financial data in the cloud? And we were saying, well, it's actually secure and safe. But we had to go through and explore that with everybody, prove it, demonstrate it, and now people don't talk to us about that anymore. So I think it's very natural. We're learning about AI still. Of course, people are going to be going, well, hang on a minute, what's happening to my data? So I think we are. We're working with a lot of the security partners. We have Oracle in the OCI piece with all of that protection, but I completely understand that, people have to get comfortable with the fact that actually it's data about data, really. So I expect that there will be a lot of analysis and scrutiny over that, and then, 6 months, 12 months' time, there'll be a more comfortable level of security around that. So I'm sure it will constantly be evaluated, but perhaps not as much as it is right now because it's new to everybody.
Yeah, and for the listeners that don't know, how secure is the data within the NetSuite platform and when it's being used by AI?
It's very secure. It's it has all of the standard industry and all of the differentiated Oracle technology around that to protect that data. So we're not looking at individual customers' data. We're looking at the data about the data. So we're not able to see anybody's specific data, and there's lots of security around that from the Cohere partnership that we have to make sure that it's very secure for all of that. And that's what customers can look at as they start to build their AI journey.
Yeah, so their privacy is safe.
Exactly that, yeah. Yeah, data privacy, all of those rules and regulations, yeah.
What is the most common question you get from your customers at this moment surrounding AI?
Well, I think actually probably the most common question is, I'm really excited about this. What does it mean to me? I think, and I think we have, if you think it's only really been 6 months to a year, we've been talking about it, it's accelerating at an incredible pace, and I think that's what we're excited to bring answers to that, examples of what AI can bring to customers. But I think that's genuinely the most common question that we get is, what does this mean to me, and how can I make my business better as a result?
And you are responsible for the whole EMEA region.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see difference in the region on how they look at AI or how they adopt AI? Or
I think it's a bit early to tell that right now, but I can foresee that there will be differences because, our region is very varied, from a UK, which is a very mature technology market, to, say, for example, Africa, which is a massive region of hundreds of small countries, but a very mobile-centric continent, I should say. So I think there is an evolution between one to the other. I don't think we have enough experience of AI in use in those countries at the moment, but I would imagine there would be a bit of a disparity as we go on that journey.
Well, that's also an interesting fact you say, because they're very mobile. Do you think all the AI functions will work on mobile as good as they will on a normal computer?
Well, actually, one of the things Evan and I were talking about earlier with some of the customers was that some of those countries that are perhaps on an evolution towards a more mature market might leapfrog us because they'll start with that kind of technology. And I think we also talked about some industries may adopt AI more quickly than others. So, obviously software technology companies are going to be more likely perhaps than, perhaps a manufacturing company, I don't know, even though manufacturing companies could probably make a huge benefit, or those that, have more strict data privacy policies, etc. But I do think we'll see that some of those things accelerate a bit faster. But no reason why the mobile access to the, in effect, the mobile's just accessing the same data services. So I don't think that should hold them back. It should be a positive thing.
NetSuite is positioned for the mid-market. That means that I think many mid-market organizations won't be able or will invest so much in developing their own AI or their own Gen AI features because they don't have the biggest IT teams usually.
Yeah.
That means they are, they look at you and at other companies. So I also wondered, how important are your NetSuite partners in this? Because they can maybe also develop AI solutions on top of NetSuite. Yeah,
really important. And some of them are already doing that. We're also talking about, at the relevant moment, giving those partners access to our prompts, for example, and being able to add to what we're already developing. So I think it's a very good point about the partnerships. And I think what's interesting is for our customer base, small to medium customers, they're going to be able to benefit from AI even more because, as you say, they can't develop it themselves, but they also don't have an awful lot of people in some of these organisations. So to have this AI capability almost doing the work of 2 or 3 people for them, maybe, it gives them a lot more scope to expand and grow their businesses. So it's a great market for us, I think, in that small to medium business and with the partnerships that we have as well.
And the NetSuite partners, can they bring their own models when they use AI, or do they need to leverage the Oracle?
Well, I think where we are at the moment, they would need to leverage the Oracle model. But as I say, in future, we will look to give them further access. And I think that's something we'll have to wait and see. But, I think we're open to what these futures could look like. For now, we need to deliver what we have and get people using it and providing those use cases and showing how it's going to be powerful going forwards.
Yeah, so for the more industry-focused, we probably have to look at partners for filling that gap.
I don't think we know that right now, but yes, I think we're open to what that future might look like. And, we use partners to support us in various markets and industries, and I'm sure that's what we'll continue to do with AI as well.
And how important is Oracle in this whole play?
Hugely important. I mean, I think, we leveraging the Oracle partnerships. We're also leveraging the work that Oracle is doing with OCI. NetSuite now, all NetSuite customers are now on the OCI data. So I think, hugely important. Our development teams work really closely with the Oracle development teams, and it means that we have access to what's already been done. We don't have to recreate it, so hugely speeds up and accelerates our AI capability as well.
Okay, I'm running out of questions.
Excellent.
So I wonder if is there anything I missed you want to add about AI that you think is really important in discussion with your customers?
I think we're just really excited with what it can bring to our customers. They have a single integrated platform to run their business. This is just going to enable them to speed up what they do with that even more and make time for that value-add analysis that they can use from the EPM solutions we're providing as well.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much,
right.
Nicky.
Thank you, Koen. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, this was Koen, live from Suite Connect in London.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Techzine Talks on Tour. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. If you'd like more information, please feel free to visit techzine.eu, where we cover everything, everywhere. Thanks again for listening, and we hope you'll join us again on the next episode of Techzine Talks on Tour.